Good morning. Today I want to talk about weddings and specifically hybrid photo and video weddings and how I approach shooting them. So last week I went out to Marbella to shoot a small wedding and I was shooting hybrid photo and video, and this was actually the first time I offered it as a hybrid wedding. Usually whenever I would do photography I would just shoot video alongside of it without telling the couple before, and if I had enough stuff to deliver a nice video I would deliver it, if not I would just scrap it. So that way I kind of learned how to shoot, how much I need to shoot to make a short highlight video, and now at this point I'm comfortable enough to actually offer it as a service whenever I'm pitching a wedding. Anyways, let's jump into the behind the scenes of the wedding. As usual, I got to the venue about 40 minutes before I was supposed to be there, and of course they weren't ready yet. And for this wedding we weren't planning on doing any preparation shots or anything because they will also have a much bigger wedding at home in Belgium, so they will do that all for that wedding, and this wedding was more like chill, just close family. So while I waited for them, I took the time to take some photos of the space, which is this nice hotel that I already shot for many times. And I also got a few photos and clips of the terrace once it was ready for the wedding. And then I took the drone up, got the opening shot for the wedding video, and a few more photos of the venue. So this wedding was a bit different because as soon as I got there, we started with the portraits. This is something they said right from the beginning. They wanted to start with the portraits in the morning and just get rid of them. It's definitely not an ideal lighting situation because it's high noon and there's quite a bit of harsh light, but we did what we could with it. Starting off at the top of the stairs, which go down to the pool of the venue of the wedding, I just set them up on the stairs and took some portraits of them at the top of the stairs and going down, also shooting a bit of video which I can then use for the highlight. And when it comes to the video, I just roll on a few short clips. I don't need much because I will be slowing everything down. I shoot in 60 frames per second, so a 4-second clip will end up being an 8-second clip, and that way I need to shoot less and it gives kind of a more magic, more like dreamy looking vibe to the whole video, and it makes it a bit more romantic. Here I was just getting a couple different focal length shots of the same scene and also making them kiss just so I can use it later on after the first kiss or something, depending on how the video turns out and how I want to tell the story. Here at this point I switched to the Fujifilm X-T3 and I shot this on the Camlan 50mm f1.1, and I managed to nail focus on her eye, which I was really happy about, and then switched back to the Tamron for a few safe shots using autofocus. Then we moved on inside because outside it started to be really hot and we started to sweat, and I knew that I wanted to shoot in this part of the hotel because I really like this chair and I like the whole setup of this scene, and I just worked around the room to find nice compositions and nice shots of them. And on here I was using the flash and just bouncing it, and yeah, before we went to that chair we took a few shots in the hallway, but I wasn't rolling on my own camera. After this we ended up going to a close by beach and just taking a few photos and a couple clips down there. I wasn't really recording because I forgot my Insta360 Go 3 in the hotel, but the whole thing took like 15 minutes. We were in and out of the beach like as fast as possible because again it was extremely hot, but I think we got some really nice shots and some nice videos. And then we went back to the hotel. Everyone else was already ready for the wedding, so we went into doing the group shots before the ceremony. I will just show you the whole group shots. I won't bother you with all the smaller groups. But yeah, this is just the standard. Line everyone up in the best location you can find and just take some group photos that they then can have to remember the day. Also, this is basically the only part of the day where I'm shooting at a higher f-stop. For most of the rest of the day, I'm just shooting wide open. Nice. Everyone crazy, crazy, crazy. Perfect. Compared to a normal photography wedding, the video portion is not that much more difficult. I really disregard the video rules like 180 shutter and everything else, and all I care about is actually capturing some footage that will show the day in a nice way. I don't care if the motion blur isn't perfect, especially in a wedding where there's not much happening. You're not like driving around, you don't have these high action scenes, so it doesn't really show that much, and it's definitely not an issue. And to show you how I shoot hybrid photo and video with my Fujifilm X-H2S, so this is basically what I use throughout the whole wedding. From time to time I will switch to a wider lens like the Samyang 12mm, or use it on my second camera, which is a Fujifilm X-T3, or I also use the 56-1.4 from Viltrox, or some other manual lenses that I have if I want to use them for portraits or anything like that. But generally like 90% of the day is on this thing. Also, whenever I'm shooting a ceremony, I will set up the X-T3 to shoot video just on a tripod locked off, directed at the couple, so that I can get video of things like the first kiss and stuff like that, and that I have multiple angles for other stuff if I need it. If the audio is okay, I can just deliver that as a single clip of the whole wedding, which is another added value thing, which I also don't really market because I won't mic up the bride and groom. I just let it record with a shotgun mic on top, and if the audio is good then I send it, if it's not then I don't. On this wedding the wind was really bad, so the audio sucked. Anyways, how I shoot the weddings. I use my Fujifilm X-H2S, and generally I use it in photography mode, so I have it on custom dials. C7 is my photography dial and it's basically aperture priority, but I like using it on C7 because the video setting is right next to it, and this helps me quickly switch from photo to video. I also have C6 set as a video setting, but that one shoots log, and I don't want to shoot log for the weddings because I don't want my ISO to be 1250. I want to be able to go lower, so with the Fujifilm cameras you obviously have all the simulations and everything, and I use classic chrome with some adjustments. I stole that from John Stembaugh on YouTube, who has a lot of really nice videos about shooting weddings with Fujifilm cameras. Basically these are the settings, and a link to his channel is below. Jumping into the ceremony here, I'm on the X-H2S with the Tamron 17-70, which will be on for most of it, and I didn't really get any shots of them walking out because they just walked out with all the other guests, so there's nothing really there to get. Just to start, I want some establishing shots with the 12mm f2 from Samyang, so I put that on and just walk out to get some wide shots of the whole wedding and the venue and everything around. And honestly it's not that much wider than the 17, but I like having some different perspectives and also trying to get some photos of the people in the background. The wedding was a bit longer than I thought it would be. I really had a lot of time to get all my photos and all the clips that I wanted without really sweating or having to run around too much. I make sure to get photos and videos of the guests, of the officiant, of the couple and everything else, but mainly I'm focused on the couple. I really like the setting here, I like the venue, but something that I don't really like is the sun and everyone either in sunglasses or squinting, which is definitely not ideal when you're shooting a wedding ceremony. At least we have a really nice backdrop to everything from the day. You can see the clips are already kind of usable, they don't need too much when it comes to color grade. In the final edit I do a bit of color grading and I add some effects with the Enhancer Pro. Use code PERHA22 for 10% off if you want. And yeah, basically I just go around and shoot any details, anything that happens, like here them holding hands. This is a nice shot to have in the final video. It's just a nice genuine moment, also a nice thing to capture in the photos as well. And yeah, just following the day. When it comes to exchanging the rings and stuff like that, I don't really care for getting details of that on video. I prioritize photos for that because my approach is photo-centric with video as a bonus, and I also don't think the video needs every single detail in it. As long as you kind of get the vibe of the wedding and show the day, it's good enough, and it's a nice way to relive the wedding without bothering with every single detail of the day. At least when you're shooting a hybrid wedding where photography is first and video is second. If I was shooting only video, I would make sure I got the rings, I got the kiss, and I got everything else happening in the ceremony. There was a funny thing happening. You can see the arch behind the officiant, and at some point right before the wedding, the wind almost took it away. So in a lot of these clips, you will see a guy standing by the side of the arch holding it down. And as soon as the wedding was over and he stopped holding it down, it just fell down completely. So it was good that he was standing there holding it, but also it gave me a bit more work when it came to editing the files, because I had to go into Photoshop and take him out of each photo that showed the arch. But with generative AI, it's not really a big issue. A small issue I had during the ceremony is that the whole thing was in Flemish, I think, and I don't understand it at all, so I was just guessing what was going to happen by cues, more or less going from the vibe of everything. And yeah, I didn't really know exactly what the next thing was because I didn't understand anything they were saying. But in the end, it turned out quite well. And something weird with this ceremony was that they didn't actually have a first kiss. They didn't have that moment where it's like, okay, you can now, you both said I do, you can now kiss. It was more like, I don't know, it was just at some point the wedding's over. They did kiss, but I was at a wrong spot, so here I made them kiss again. And I got these nice photos of, let's say, the first kiss. But as for the video of the first kiss, I actually did get it from the locked off tripod shot with my X-T3, so I had that covered as well, which was perfect. For the rest of the day, I made the stupid mistake of not recording any more behind the scenes, so I don't have the behind the scenes of the cake cutting, of the dance floor, of basically the rest of the day. So I'll just overlay some photos over here so you actually see what I got. This was probably the easiest and like most relaxed wedding I ever worked. It was all in the same location. We basically, except for going to the beach, we didn't go anywhere else. Once the ceremony was done, everyone went inside for cocktail hour, and the staff of the hotel cleaned up the whole terrace, took the whole wedding setup out and put the furniture back where it was supposed to be, and that way the terrace became once again a nice chill relaxed zone where everyone then just got out. The DJ started playing some music and the barbecue guy started grilling some meats because the dinner was also really informal. It was just barbecue and I really enjoyed that. I really liked the food. It was a really fun rest of the day. It was fun shooting. It was fun being in such a relaxed and chill. I keep saying relaxed and chill, but that's what it was. It was completely different than any other wedding and I really liked shooting it. I know a lot of people who do wedding photography really don't want to do video. A lot of people who do video don't want to do photography, and doing video first, it would be kind of weird adding photo to it, because usually every couple wants photos more, and then video is an afterthought. Video is just something that if you have the budget, you hire a videographer, but generally most people don't. And I think offering hybrid photo and video is something that will definitely set you apart from the other wedding photographers, and that way you offer definitely something special. I don't think hybrid coverage really replaces a full wedding video and a wedding videographer, but it's more for the couples that don't want a big production during their wedding or don't have the budget to hire an extra person to do the video. So adding this into your photo workflow is really nice, and it doesn't really take much away from the photography, especially for weddings like this one and generally small weddings. If it was a bigger wedding, I would probably hire a second shooter, ideally someone who also knows how to shoot hybrid, because that would put a lot of the stress away from it and make it a much better video production as well as better photo coverage. I think ideally doing hybrid alone for small weddings and with a second shooter for big weddings, it's the perfect setup for me and what I generally want to do. I also really want to keep doing wedding videography for people who want to hire me just as a videographer, and I love rigging up my camera and going out and just shooting video throughout the whole day. So I don't know, I'm kind of torn between doing this and doing just video, but I think this is kind of the best of both worlds. I love both video and photo, and this way I get to do them both. Anyways, if you want to know more about hybrid coverage, definitely check out Taylor Jackson's YouTube channel. He's probably the first person who started doing hybrid video and photo, and the first person I heard talk about it, so definitely check that out. He gives some amazing advice, and I really learned a lot from what he has put out there. That's gonna be it for this video. If you want to see the wedding film from this wedding, there will be a link to my portfolio below, and yeah, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.